It is the 11th of June 2024 and a direct confrontation between Russia and the NATO looks almost inevitable. You see, there are escalations on both the sides. Russian warships have reached Cuba. A Russian nuclear submarine has docked in Havana. Russian warplanes have reportedly crossed into NATO airspace. America has heightened vigilance, armed a dangerous far-right faction of the Ukrainian military. Also, Ukraine is upping its drone game. Belarus and Russia are carrying out nuclear exercises. There are more developments, all hinting that a bigger war may be just one mistake away. Let's start off with what's happening in the war zone. Russia is claiming that it has taken control of one more village in Ukraine's Donetsk region. The name of this village is Staromai-Orsky. This is where it is on the map. There have also been strikes in other parts of Ukraine. In Kharkiv, Ukrainian rescuers managed to save a man who was buried under the rubble after Russian fire hit a residential area.
Поднимай. Тяни ногу! Ногу тяни, все, давай, взяли! Сюда, давай. Все, тихонечко. Аккуратно отсюда и передавай. Нет,
Now, Russia claims it has managed to shoot down a Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jet. The Kremlin also claims it has intercepted Neptune anti-ship missiles. And Ukraine, on the other hand, says it has managed to hit a Russian oil refinery. Ukrainian officials claiming the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery in Russia's Rostov Oblast was struck on the 5th of June. Ukraine claims the attack destroyed 1.5 million tons of oil and oil products. In fact, Kiev estimates the total loss to be worth $540 million. Also, in a first, the White House has officially confirmed that Ukraine has used American weapons to hit Russian territory. Not too far from the war zone, Belarus and Russia are conducting a nuclear drill. This is the second stage of the tactical drill. Now, Russia says these drills are meant to ensure that the two countries are ready to protect their sovereignty, adding that European provocations necessitate these exercises. Remember, Russian President Vladimir Putin has not taken lightly West's decision to arm Ukraine with long-range missiles that are capable of hitting deep within Russia. During the ongoing exercises, troops from both the countries are expected to work on the combat use of non-strategic nuclear weapons. And this comes at a time when a Russian nuclear submarine, along with Russian warships, have docked in Havana, Cuba. Visiting Cuba is Russian frigate Gorshkov, fleet oil tanker Pashin, the rescue tug Nikolai Chika, and nuclear-powered submarine Kazam. These ships and submarines are fitted with long-range missiles like the Caliber and Zircon that are capable of striking as far as New York, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. America is on alert. U.S. media, in fact, reporting that American ships have already been deployed and tasked with shadowing the Russian warships. Reports say 2 American destroyers have been tasked into action, as have 2 other ships that tow sonar equipment. Back in Ukraine, Kiev is preparing for an offensive. This is Vadim Sukharevsky. He is Ukraine's commander of drone forces. commander of drone forces. This is a new post that Ukraine has created, by the way, keeping in mind the changing nature of the warfare, also keeping in mind Ukraine's hits and misses. We told you just yesterday how Ukrainian drones have managed to hit one of Russia's stealth fighter jets, the Sukhoi Su-57. NATO calls it the Fallon. Ukraine managed to strike this jet on the tarmac of an airbase in the Astrakhan region. We have high-resolution images of the damage. Like we've been telling you, this is almost 600 kilometers from the front line. The question is, will it add to the growing tensions in the sea? Will Russia retaliate by striking deep into Ukrainian land? Will it become a logistics versus logistics warfare? Ukraine is already drawing up a plan for this possibility. It is drawing up a plan to secure the US-made F-16s that Kiev will be receiving from its European allies. The plan is to house some of these fighter jets in air bases outside Ukraine, meaning chances are these jets will be in a NATO hangar. But is that a foolproof plan? What if Russia does not shy away from striking a non-Ukrainian aerodrome? Just look at what Finland is claiming. It says a Russian jet violated Finnish airspace. As per Finland's defense ministry, the Russian fighter jet flew into Finland's airspace on Monday. The jet allegedly entered 2.5 kilometers into Finland's territory. What's more, the Russian military jet stayed in Finland's airspace for about 2 minutes. The airspace violation reportedly happened in the eastern part of the Gulf of Finland. This is the first such airspace violation since Finland became a NATO member, which means if Finland's claims are correct, what you essentially have here is Russia entering NATO airspace, and that is dangerous, that is provocative. Speaking of which, let me tell you what America has done. It has armed a faction of the Ukrainian armed forces that Russia brands as neo-Nazis. The US has lifted weapon sanctions that were imposed on the Azov Brigade. This is a unit of the Ukrainian military with quite a checkered history. The Azov Brigade started off as a militia that was absorbed into the Ukrainian National Guard in 2015. This unit is accused of human rights violations by the United Nations, which is why Washington had banned the Azov Brigade from using American arms. But now, as the war escalates, Washington has pulled a swift U-turn. The State Department has said, and I'm quoting here, after thorough review, Ukraine's 12th Special Forces Azov Brigade passed Leahy vetting as carried out by the US Department of State. What is the Leahy vetting? The Leahy law prevents the US from militarily assisting foreign units that are guilty of human rights violation. So what the US is basically saying now is that the Azov Brigade is not guilty of human rights violation, that Washington has found, quote unquote, no evidence. What gives? Perhaps the desperation to defeat Russia at all costs? You see, the Azov Brigade has proved to be very effective in the war. It fought hard to defend the Azovstal steel mill in Mariupol. This was in the early months of the war. The battle went in favor of Russia, but the strong front put up by the Azov Brigade did not go unnoticed. And now, as the war escalates, the US has decided to give the Azov Brigade full access to its cache of weapons. And here is how Russia has reacted to this. Listen to this.
Крайне негативно. Речь идет о ультранационалистах, ультранационалистических вооруженных подразделениях. И, собственно, такая внезапная смена позиции Вашингтона говорит о том, что они ничем не гнушаются в своих попытках подавить Россию. Подавить Россию, используя, естественно, Украину и украинский народ в качестве инструмента в своих руках.
So what you have here is escalation from both the sides, leaving ample scope for a fatal miscalculation. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.